Hello and good afternoon, my dear students. This is once again Professor Dr. Ahmed. I'm here today to record the first scene and first act of the drama by Usman. This is a Pakistani drama, The Lost Metaphor. I have sufficiently recorded critical comments about this drama already in one of my other videos, which is titled as Introduction to the Drama, The Last Metaphor. Here I'm going to talk about some parts of the text so that the students may be able to have a very good and better view of the text. For this purpose, I'm going to show you first of all the title of the drama so that you can have a good type of background first of all. So last metaphor. Metaphor, the word everybody knows, whatever the people have read literature, they don't know very well what's a metaphor. And then last, the last one. So this is the very strange type of title, perhaps not going to match with the text of the drama, but still it's a title. After having a thorough view of the whole of the text, we can establish some connection between the title and the drama itself. So, for this purpose, we need to go to the first act of the drama, and I must say that in the first act of the drama, we have, the characters first of all to know what characters are there. On page two, we have the start of the act one, and that is why we have the two characters also, and these are Jugnu and then is Banka. These are two main characters of the drama. Jugnu is 37 years old, as we get the information here, and Banka is 35 years old. 2 years difference is there. So these are the two characters in the drama, which are not so very old characters, but rather we should say the young characters. They're in their 30s, but still we can say that they're not immature ones. They are the mature people, and they seem to reflect the understanding of the word. And perhaps the reason of choosing such mature characters is that the dramatist wants us not to be, taken in a way that these people are non-understanding and non-experienced people, and as a result, it's the kind of description can be about the not the very good understanding, but rather here is the character which is that much old, and therefore possibilities that we may be having a very good understanding. So these two characters, the main characters Jugnu and Banka, are there. Let us see what else we can have as a part of the text. So first of all, it is Act One, that is starting with the description, and that description is about a small one-room apartment with an attached kitchen and a small lawn. There are two glass windows, downstage right and upstage left, and door upstage left. There is a sink, and then near the window on the right, there is a fire burning in a pit, center stage, with flames leaping out of it. Two stools are placed on the right and left of it. There is a bed out upstage, left along with the small table that has a flask, two cups, and a pack of cigarette placed on it. The door opens and Jugnu enters. He's wearing a mask and carrying a dead body draped in a white sheet. He stares at the audience menacingly and goes center stage, sits slowly and places the body down. Looks at the audience, stands up and goes towards the stool on the left. He sits on it and his back to the audience, places both his hands at the back of his head and crosses his legs. He gets up, goes to the table, picks up the pack of cigarettes, takes out one cigarette, lights it, and goes back to the stool, keeping his back to the audience the whole time. He puffs at the cigarette so that the audience can see the smoke rising. He turns his head towards the window on the left, stands up, moves towards it, and looks outside. He moves towards the stool, keeping his back towards the audience, and continues to smoke. He turns his head towards the window for the second time. There's a knock at the door. Jugnu continues to smoke while the knock goes on throughout. After finishing the cigarette, Jugnu throws the stub into the fire and goes to the door. He pauses and then jerks open the door. Banka enters with a mask on his face and a coil of thick rope on his left shoulder. He throws the rope towards the audience, gazes at the audience, and picks up the rope. Winds it around his right arm. He comes further towards the center stage, goes to the draped body, and sits near it. Jugnu is still standing next to the door. So that is the description of the start of the drama. This description is the stage description mainly, and the introduction of the characters as well. Stage is just a normal stage having the kind of impression of one room apartment, the kitchen and other things associated with that. There are the windows, there's a door as well. All these things are normal as it could be anywhere. But the significant thing about this start of the drama is that we have one character who is named as Jugnu, and that character is carrying some type of body in his hand, and that body is draped in white sheet. Draping of the body in white sheet goes to show that something or somebody or some person is dead, and therefore it is wrapped up in some kind of wrapping of the white material. And besides that, he's also having a mask on his face. These are two important things. Why the person is the mask, that creates a question whether he's trying to hide his identity, or he is having the kind of bad smell of the body, and that is why he's wearing a mask. And then there's a fire in the center of the room, and that is also important. These three things happen which are unusual as far as possibility of the appearance of the scene is going to be. And in the same way, we have the second character, that is the Banka, who also enters and wears a mask. So mask is common between the two characters. He also has something on his shoulder. If the first character Jugnu had the dead body, and here we have Banka to carry the rope on his shoulder, and that rope is going to be described and explained in the next coming lines also. Why he's carrying this type of rope, what is his connection with the rope, he also comes forward. And smoking of the cigarette has been made to be something, a pastime, a luxury, and that is why the smoking by Chukmu is carrying on, and that fire also is carrying on. And ultimately both of these characters enter there. One is carrying the dead body in the wrapped in the white clothing, and the other one is carrying the rope on his shoulder, and that person, two persons are present there on the stage. The drama begins with one dialogue, not in the sense that it's a very powerful dialogue, but the question is asked. Banka, looking at the audience, what is it? Jugnu bangs the door and moves towards his stool, so Banka doesn't get an answer. And instead, he comes back and puts the same question in the next line by saying, Jugnu, what is it? So, this is the kind of situation where the question is being asked. And this question, possibly the question of the audience as well. What the drama is about, what is going to happen in the drama, or it can be about the dead body which Jugnu is carrying. It can be about the banging of the door also, what is happening, all that. So, in this way, the thing starts with a question, and throughout the drama, the reader would be finding out what the drama is, what the question is, what the answer to the question is. So, very good time arrangement by the writer, that in the very beginning he raises a question between these two in order to clarify a number of situations and to find out the answers to these situations. So, with these things, Jugnu says he goes to the table upstage left, pours a cup of coffee, and comes close to the pit of the fire. So Jugnu still is not speaking anything. Third time, Banka repeats, what is it? So quite a modern style, because first of all it's a cigarette, and then it's a cup of coffee, and the fire is burning. It's the life of a person, not in that remote past. It's rather a kind of modern person who is doing all these things. Banka, what is it again? Jugnu pours coffee into the pit. Are you of the damned? The thing he speaks, that you are not a good person. Are you a bad person? Banka, how did you know that? And the answer comes from Jugnu, from the question you ask, is just understanding that you are such boring kind of person, bad kind of person, that you're asking me question and question. What is the wrong with the question? Banka puts, is the question wrong? Jugnu, who is it? Who is it? So the situation turns and goes again towards the door, where the door was knocking, and the question is asked Jugnu by again, who's this and who's it? So in that way, the drama is having questions, questions and questions. Even in this way, we have these three questions dealing with WH. So these questions continue to be there. And Jugnu says that somebody should go to the body and ask whether, who is that? Banka, the dead do not speak. It's a very important line, that the people who are living, but if they are behaving like the dead people, they cannot speak. Or in other words, we can also say that the people who have no voice to raise, these people cannot call themselves, these people are dead people, they cannot call themselves as the living people, because they're not raising the voice. So raising of the voice, once again, here become a problem. Here has become a facility with which you can prove yourself to be living or to be dead. So in that way, the thing of inquiry continues, and again Jugnu says, who told you this? Everyone knows that. You believe that what everyone knows? Have you spoken to the dead? Jugnu, looking at the body, they speak to everyone. None has spoken to me. So this matter of speech continues to have a debate that I'm living person, nobody is speaking to me, but many people are talking to the dead. So this is something very important to understand here. As we people in our general behavior in the society do, that if somebody is living, we may not be talking to that person. But if that person is dead, then surely we go and talk to that person about that person, show our relationship with that, forgive everything, and seem to be in connection with that person, which was not possible during the lifetime is taking place at that time when somebody is dead. You have never tried to listen to them. What do they say? Now, this sentence, you have never tried to listen to them, very significant. Because who is this them? Is it going to be the dead people? Or is it going to be the people outside in the street? Or is it going to be some law enforcers or somebody else that the question is being asked that have you not been able to listen to them? Have you made any try with that? And again, what do they say? The question is asked, what do they say? This question is being asked with the belief that the dead people do speak, and that is why the answer should come. What do they speak? Jugnu. Listen to them before their burial. Banka, listen to them before their burial. They speak, I promise, they speak, I guarantee they speak. Now, the speech may be about the dead people that before their burial one should be able to listen to them. But again, the thing is that when you want to speak or when you want to hear somebody, that should be done at that time when somebody is alive. When somebody is gone dead at that time, questioning about that person is not that important. And the belief by Jugnu is being shown that definitely the people, even if they are dead, they are speaking. I mean, the story which they want to tell may be somewhere available, and that story would be definitely told by someone or the other. Both sit on the stools placed on the sides of the pit of the fire. A whistle is heard of the night watchman in the street. So, if for a moment we just take a little break and try to see what we are reading, I would say that most of the time we have the impression that we are reading the discussion between the two people about the dead people, whether they can speak or they cannot speak. And there is nothing important which is going on. The word is restricted. One body is dead, one body is lying. And even we don't know who that body is, but still the question and the debate is about that very body. And the writer is coming to the point that we people are more concerned about the dead people rather than concerned about the living people. Proceeding further, let's see. Jugnu, let's begin. Banka, go on. What time is it? It's near 2 o'clock. Very clever technique of telling of the time, but without mentioning whether it is 2 o'clock of the night or that of the daytime. So some things are concealed for the sake of suspense. In order to determine what the time is going to be, 2 o'clock has been repeated. Does your watch tell correct time? Yes, looking at Jugnu. Why do you ask? You told me to begin. I mean, they are still discussing on something and the time has come in between. Banka, why don't you wear a watch on your wrist? I don't like watches. Why? Because they tell time. You're afraid of time. Now here another thing is being told here that one person is not having watch on his wrist, and that is why the question is being asked, why don't you have the watch there? And the answer comes, I don't want to know the time. Because when they tell time, one becomes afraid. So the writer is trying to say that time is perhaps the most important commodity in this world. That if we know the time, possibly we may be realizing how much age is left behind, how much time we are provided for that, and how much we are fast and how much we are slow. But if we don't care for the time, these things go away. This can be taken in another way as well, because time is something it's not in the control of the people, it's not in the control of the human being. It is universal, it's going on as it has to. We people are trying to adjust into that. So time, importance of time becomes very much important in this context, in this regard. And then, yes, you're right, you can leave, I will not come back. Jugnu, why ask you to? I love you, but you love this body. We love you and you love her. This last sentence of the speech of Banka converts the whole thing from the time, from the questions, from the answers. It goes to show that Banka is in love with somebody. And Jugnu is there, and Banka is trying to tell Jugnu that love of Jugnu is for that body. It is not for anybody else. It is for that body. He says that he loves Jugnu, but Jugnu loves that body. It means that writer wants us to keep in mind that the body wrapped is not just a kind of wrapping put there. It's very much important. It's got something related to Banka and then related to Jugnu as well. So again, the body is becoming here. the most important part of the drama also. Further descriptions come. Then silence is there. Jugnu stares at the fire, listens to it by cupping his right hand over his right ear. Then Jugnu, do you hear it? What? Ah, the sound of water in the fire. This is something very strange, the sound of water in the fire, that is repeated by Jugnu as well. That Jugnu is able to listen to the sound of the water, but that sound of the water in the fire. Now, ordinarily we may say that perhaps the woods or the sticks of the wood are cracking, and the noise of that cracking of the wood is creating some sound which may resemble to the sound of the falling of the water drops. It is in the same way that in the poem The Wasteland, T.S. Eliot says that the sound of drip drop was coming and all the party moved towards that in order to find water. But when they reached there, they could find that it was not drip drop of water, but it was the drip drop sound uttered by a bird. So, keeping in view this kind of thing, we can also say that here water voice is coming from the fire, and that is why it's being resembled with the sound of the water. And then possibly the thing can also be explained with regard to the idea that in the fire water is possible and fire is possible in the water. We cannot say that both these things cannot exist side by side. They can, as the dramatist environment is going to show to us. They continue discussing in the same way. Water falling in the sink, the sound is coming from the fire. It is coming from the sink. From the fire, from the sink. From the fire, so the reality and the difference being established that the sound of falling of the water comes from sink. The other party says no, it comes from the fire. So one is able to listen that sound from the fire. Other says no, it's like that. So the writer therefore keeps on balancing the situation by letting us know that water is really falling from the sink and sound is coming there. But other party listens to the same sound from the fire as well. And so the thing continues from the sink. He stands up, moves towards the sink, and puts his hand beneath the tap. Continues, is it still coming? Yes. From where? Fire. From the sink. From the fire. Sighs, yes, from the fire. No, from the sink. So in that way, the debate continues to show to us that water normally comes out from the tap of water. On the sink, it doesn't come from the fire. But when one is having the mind like that, one can listen to the voice of the water from the fire as well. So Banka and Jugnu continue. It is cold outside. You can't sit close to the fire. Winter has never been so severe. The wind makes it worse. I packed myself before coming out. This leather jacket and gloves kept me warm. Very good way of telling of the weather condition. Not only the time is that of night of 2 o'clock, but also the winter season is being talked about and the air is blowing. So in that way, the scene is created like that. That although fire is there, but they say that it's not that much cold. It's outside the cold, not inside the cold. So therefore, the season or the timing of the drama is also being told to us in that way. Then comes logs are also blessing. They keep the room warm. I also wear 2 pairs of socks. So whole the effort is being made in order to let us know what is the season like. Yes, I do. He shows Jugnu his socks. I wear 3 pairs. Both laugh loudly and look at the body while still laughing. Have you brought cigarette? Yes, he searches his pocket, brings out a pack of cigarette and gives it to Jugnu. Cigarette again comes there. It was the beginning of the drama. It has come again there. It's not original. He had only this one. You cannot have a cigarette you like. Which country? Give me one. Both begin to smoke. Individual liberty is being talked about in these lines by saying that if you want to have something, you cannot have of your choice. You have to have which is available. And definitely the capitalist society arranged in such a way that the things are kept for the benefit of the capitalist, not for the benefit of the public. So even if you don't like or not, you think it original or not, you have to buy that because the other option is not available. So the individual liberty is being questioned through these lines, the individual liberty of the person, the people, and the character. There's nothing like gold flake, smoking, I do a dunhill, done is light, releasing the smoke, I don't like the color of the packet. So by mentioning that, reality is being established that really some type of cigarettes were present, and these were possibly that of Gold Flake Company or that of Dunhill. Then comes the next idea. What is wrong with it? It's not blue. What is wrong with the red? I said, I like blue color, but do you like blue? Because you do not like red. Very simple and very funny that if somebody doesn't like this one, the reason could be because I don't like this, then that is why I like the other one. It's being established that the drama is not possibly The kind of Shakespearean drama or that of the G.B. Shawian drama, it's a kind of theater of the absurd, where absurdity like that of the Waiting for Godot is being observed. So one is not liking one thing because one does not like the other thing. So it's not the personal choice, it is the kind of choices available to you. So all right, the thing is being wrapped up. The door is being knocked once again. Both look at the door. Freeze! A piece of paper is being pushed in from the outside. They look at each other, and at the page holding each other's hands, they move cautiously towards the page. Jugnu suddenly slips behind Banka, and Banka behind Jugnu. During the movement, Jugnu suddenly relaxes and separates his hand from Banka. It's a very absurd thing once again being done, that only the knock is on the door and both of them become very afraid. Perhaps they have had certain experiences because of which the coming of anybody, noise of any type, knocking of anybody makes them fearful. So both are so fearful that each is trying to hide behind one or the other. So in this way, the fear of the characters because of the situation is being pointed out. Okay, and then comes new discussion. Damn you, it's electricity bill. Are you sure? Showing the bill. Here is it. Oh yes, surprise, 2,000 rupee. For what? No, you see, this was the electricity bill which was being pushed. But then one cannot deny the power of the electric bill, which can make us fearful, especially in the summer season. So bill was coming and it was anticipating some type of fear. The same thing is being discussed in this line by saying that the total bill is that of the 2,000. For what? For giving light. Well, the state gives you light and you have to pay for it. Takes the bill and hangs it on the nail, fixed in the wall. Everyone is laughing at you, Jugnu, the coward Jugnu, the dog, Jugnu, the runaway. A new turn comes where Jugnu is being declared to be a runaway person, to be a dog, to be a cowardly person. Why these titles are being given? That is to be found by us in the next coming lines. Jugnu says he runs towards the door and hits it with a bang. Blood comes out of his nose that he smears all over his face and returns to his stool. Then comes Banka. Jugnu died like a dog in a police encounter. Jugnu stares at Banka. Everyone says this, and I cannot bear that. Now, this is the place where we shall be stopping in order to divide the drama into different parts. The part one I have discussed with you people. From here, the part two will begin. So, hopefully, meeting you in the second part of the drama. So, keep in mind all the things that we have gone through. I mean, the kind of characters, the situation, the dead body, the rope, smoking of the cigarette, taking of the coffee cups, and feeling fear and discussion of the individual liberty. All these things have been talked about in the drama. So, here's stopping for this part one, hopefully going in the next video for part two as well. Thank you.